or rather, better said, discipline. That's a fruit of the Spirit. Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. That is what He has given us instead of the spirit of fear. Now, I want to differentiate a little bit on fear. Some fear is good. This spirit of fear is not good. But some fear is good. And then I'll give you an example. If you go to the edge of a 1,000-foot cliff, you step up, and you look over, and you get scared. And that makes you back up. Maybe you can't even get that close. Maybe you took 20 feet away, and your knees just start shaking. You know, it scares you to go across the bridge, the Ohio River. Abby, she's got to close her eyes when she goes we can drive across the bridge. That fear is not an evil fear. What is that fear trying to do when you come up on the edge of something dangerous?
Protect you.
It's trying to protect you. It knows if you fall, you're dead. If you fall, you'll be terribly hurt. It's telling you to back up, back away. If someone wants to jump out of an airplane with no parachute, and it says, well, I'm not scared. Well, you hang them out by their ankles for about 20 seconds and bring them back in. They're going to put a parachute back on. Why? Because the fear did its job. But that's not this fear. There is a good fear. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's respect. The respect of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. But the spirit of fear is an undue fear. It's a fear that comes upon you when it's not due. It's an undue fear. It's when you don't have anything to fear, but yet here this spirit comes wanting to bring you into just a stage, a whatever, of just a state. That's what I'm trying to say. A state of just fearfulness. Oh, I can't leave my home. Oh, I can't look. Oh, I can't do that. I'm so afraid. That's the spirit of fear. That is the spirit of fear. It's not a spirit. It's not the fear that is trying to help you out. It's one that's trying to hinder you and bring you back into bondage, in which Christ has already set you free from. And God promises you. He says, I have not given you this spirit of fear, but I have, it's promised, I have given you a spirit of power, and a spirit of love, and a spirit of discipline, of a sound mind, of self-control. I've given you this spirit. You have power over it. You have love. You have self-control. When whatever causes us to fear anything other than the Lord comes upon us, we need to be able to identify it, realize that it is this undue fear by the authority of God's words, cast it far from us by believing the Scriptures, especially this one. Boy, it's a lot of work being a Christian. I don't think it's a lot of work. I love it.
That's right.
Christ has saved me.
Yeah.
I want to do what He wants me to do. I want to be where He wants me to be. You know, the unconverted church member would hear all this and say, man, all of this? I just like the food, you know? I just like the music, you know? I don't think anybody here is like that. Okay. Okay. Matthew 11:28. This will be our last one for the night. I knew I'd be long-winded on some of these. Matthew 11:28. How many of us weary? How many of us have been weary? How many of us are weary? We're weary from failure. We haven't. Sometimes we're heavy laden from sins that we commit, or guilt of sins that we commit, or guilt from past sins that we have committed. You You know, sometimes our conscience is just screaming at us. That's something you can't shut up. It's your conscience. Something we cannot shut up. No, it can be seared as with a branding iron, but until that point, it doesn't shut up. That's why so many people bury themselves in drugs and alcohol, sex, everything else, whatever it takes to quiet down the screaming conscience, because it is screaming. God has given all of us a conscience, every one of us. And some people, it drives them mad, just drives them crazy. They can't live with themselves. Some, unfortunately, even commit suicide. That's what the conscience does. The conscience is there. The conscience is real. Jesus Christ tells us, though, if this is us, if we're weary, if we're heavy laden from sin, and